hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, hip
Bars is back.
hip hop,
SamAnt
O'God.
What's up with you? I done watched them niggas do
no doubt,
interview
man.
after
But
interview.
we want to talk about the election. We know Joe Biden was pretty much declared the winner in front of everybody, but it seems like Donald Trump right now, he's not conceding, he's not backing down, he is not giving a speech, he's just talking on Twitter. But Van Jones brought some enlightenment to what exactly could happen, and while we might not see Joe Biden actually take control of the White House anytime soon.
Oh God, wasn't Van Jones crying on CNN after Biden got elected? That was that brother, right?
Yeah, it was, and man,
I don't know if it was before or after what we're about to hear, but nonetheless, let's see what he had to say.
As a political commentator, and frankly, as a former White House official, I used to think I knew a lot about how America picks a president. I was wrong. I did not know. And this year I've been doing some research into some of the fine print and all the different things in our Constitution that we never talk about. And I've discovered some legal loopholes that shock me, I guarantee will shock you, and could determine the way that the presidential election in 2020 turns out. For instance, did you know that under our Constitution, a presidential candidate could actually lose the popular vote, fail to get a majority in the Electoral College, refuse to concede, manipulate hidden mechanisms in our government, and still get sworn in as the president of the United States of America? That's a true fact. I know it sounds like some crazy House of Cards episode, and I wish it was, because then we could just change the channel. But I just described to you a real world, real life possibility that could occur this year, the year I'm talking, in 2020, or in some other year if we don't fix some of these glitches in our system. If you're behind in the ninth inning, you just come out and concede. All right? So all those other innings don't matter. That's really how the presidential elections work in America, because the Constitution actually spells out two different sets of innings. You got the popular election process that everybody pays attention to, and then you've got the elite selection process that everybody essentially ignores. In a close election, if nobody concedes, the second invisible process, these extra innings, if you will, they actually matter a whole lot. Let me explain. That first set of innings, popular election, it's what you think about when you think about the presidential election. It's the primaries, the caucuses, the debates, the conventions, it's election night, it's all that stuff. Most of the time, the loser on election night at that point just concedes. Why? The American people have spoken, all that. But according to the Constitution, the game is technically not over. After the cameras go away, after the confetti swept away, the Constitution requires this whole other set of innings, these elite selection process stuff. And this is all behind closed doors. It's among government officials. And this process goes from the end of the vote counting in November through December, all the way into January. You just never think about it, because for so many generations, these extra innings haven't mattered much, because the election night loser just concedes. So this other stuff's just a formality. Even in 2000, Vice President Al Gore gave up as soon as the Supreme Court ordered an end to the vote counting. Gore did not continue the fight into state legislatures, into the Electoral College, into Congress. He didn't try to discredit the results in the press. Frankly, he didn't send his supporters out into the streets with protest signs or pitchforks or long guns. As soon as the court said the vote count is done, he just conceded to George W. Bush. Because that's what we do. That's just kind of how we do things around here. You don't fight in the extra innings until maybe 2020. Curse you, 2020. So what could happen instead? Instead of conceding, a losing candidate could launch a ferocious fight to grab power anyway, or to hold on to power anyway. In the courts, yes, but also in the state houses, electoral college, even in Congress. They could file, for instance, dozens of lawsuits attempting to block the counting of millions of the mail-in ballots, saying they should all be thrown out. They're all fraudulent. Then they could demand that the states refuse to certify the election because of all this alleged fraud or interference from a foreign power, or the loser's party could send a rival slate of electors to the Electoral College or to Congress and say, no, we're the real electors, and create a whole situation with that. Any of this stuff could create such a mess in the Electoral College and the Congress that the whole matter just winds up in front of the House of Representatives for the first time since the 1800s. Now, here's where it gets totally crazy. If the presidential election winds up in the Congress and the House of Representatives, they don't have to pay any attention at all to the popular vote or the electoral vote. It's like the election never happened. And then it gets even crazier. The final tally in the House is taken not by delegate, but by delegation. In other words, individual Congress people don't get to vote. It's done by states. Now, get your head wrapped around this. In 2020, the majority of Americans live in blue states, but there are more red states. So there's a possibility that the Republicans in the House of Representatives could just anoint their candidate to be president, even without the popular vote or a majority electoral college. That could happen. Now, some people would call that outcome a perfectly legal, perfectly constitutional coup against the very idea of majority rule in the United States. That is possible under our Constitution, and it could happen this year.
And it could happen this year. Oh, God.
Yeah, man.
Oh, shit. Now, a lot of our listeners are going to listen to this, man. They're going to take that food in, because that was damn sure some food. Nobody knew about that prior to that. Not damn sure, not us. We didn't know that.
Right.
What if that looks like it's happening as we speak, oh, God.
Yes, sir.
What if that, in fact, happens? I got a little bit of extra kind of enlightening on why now we wait from the election in November to January. Why does it take that time period? Because there's extra innings going on that we never knew about. Talk about it, though, man.
Yeah, man. Anybody who's kind of been following the process now understands that as Van Jones explains this, if you just know what's going on, you know that, all right, this is what Donald Trump is in the middle of doing right now. This is what Donald Trump has been paving the way for ever since, up to years ago when he started talking about how, there's possible voter fraud. Now, I was just looking up a history of it. There's definitely a history, of it has happened before. A lot of people are real skeptical of it happening now, but when you see, that he's been talking about this, and then that night when he was ahead, and now he starts to move forward, and the little tweets and things start to come out, information start to come out that, it's going to be fraud. Next thing you know, the lead just switches. Next thing you know, Biden supposedly wins the election. So, Trump doesn't look like he's going to go out without a fight. Because, Van Jones is pretty much sitting up there saying, like, most times when it's declared, they just go ahead and they concede. Yep. He said, when you're down in the ninth inning, but everybody ain't got that mentality of being down in the ninth inning and quitting. Some people got the mentality to say, look, I'm going to take this thing the whole way. Maybe Trump knows something we don't know about this whole process, really. Now, I don't know. I haven't seen any evidence that has been any cheating like that, but I do know that Trump has alluded to it. And now what Van Jones is talking about, it looks like Trump is going to follow through with that process. I'm seeing people talking about he got to be taken out in handcuffs and different things like that. We're going to see, in the next, it's only a couple more months now, how this process goes. I can't even predict what's going to happen.
Damn, it makes for great TV, don't it? Shit is wild, man. You couldn't script it better than this. Mm-hmm. Only Trump would know that loophole and know that way to sit his ass down in there for 4 more years, man. It's very interesting what's going on. I do know this, though. A lot of people speculated if Trump lost, there'd be riots in the street and there'd be things going on, and we'd be in a civil war, so to speak, because his supporters would have this uprising. They wouldn't accept it. Right. I didn't see that. No. I'm kind of surprised I didn't see it, honestly, but we didn't see it all. Nothing. Let Trump get his ass back in office or find a way back in there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And see what the fuck happens. Oh man, this is TV right here. This is TV for you at its finest.
I hope not.
We'll see.
I just, with the COVID things going up, the numbers going up, and this president that we got in there, the dude's damn near 80 years old, man. It's just like, I don't know, man. I just don't feel confident, and because we don't talk about the GDP and foreign relations. We don't really get into that too much, but this is something that goes on. And when you see Trump's administration, man, he was actually trying to, if we want to look like, get things back where America controlled things and not selling us out to China and to the drug companies and things like that. So it appeared that Trump may have been a little bit of a threat to these people. So that's why I look at it and I say, you know what, nothing's outside of the possibility. I done seen every movie. So, and you see it in the movies, there's some truth to it. So anything is possible. We needed to sit back, get our popcorn, and see how this thing's going to play out, man.
I'm damn sure I'm going to enjoy the show.
Yes, sir.
That's all I got on that, brother.
Definitely. I'm going to talk about Cardi B, man. She is now trying to resurrect the Reebok company with a new fashion line, saying